Hello, hello, welcome to the Old Valley. We are here to defend our fellow prosecutor, Anziski. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's even more menacing tension in the air. Menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. I really do. However, you are certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? Not privy to details, however. In the sense that no jury has been selected. Okay. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court, I see. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. You made note of my hair, my startle. Victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Aha! What one man is a little hair problem. It's another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how many stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, yes. Blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. Delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is far greater deterrent to the attack routes of crime in our capital. And well, at least I may not agree with your methods. There's at least one point in which I will readily commend you. What an honor that will be. You're eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind of my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for a quiet trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh, Mikotoba. Gina! What's on her arm? A mourning band, I suppose? Mourning band? Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's being postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Oh yes, Gina. Why do you agree to this, huh? Why do you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him. Walk your lady box. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. They're really just a name. It's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out that it was him who'd killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. At least there might be some solace to the deceased. Please, Oda. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this is useless, but then nothing can be. So we got fight with this and make the wretch pay. Also, defense and defendant, could be such shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. No one asks. Oh, never mind. One lost his treasure brother to a mass murder. One who lost his treasure father in a foreign court of law. and one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, of course, took a light headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we are going to have to look straight in the eye. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Baron Franciscus. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Cancel myself. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution bench. The so-called Reaper of the Ballet has been scourged like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson murder. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, there are to be conducted a close trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty direct orders. How will that work, my lord? No summonation? Yeah. The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' benches shall remain vacant today. A classic. No members of the public are present when I ask you who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord. There are members of the judiciary here to witness proceeding and ensure equitable trial. Members of the judiciary? Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already. There is of course another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsel for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens. Aliens? Aliens or aliens of Great Britain? I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. As I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. That's all. Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. This hearing took place on the 1st November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was building of flats of Reznov Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed into his court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of these country Grimset cases 10 years ago. The professor. Case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Pretty sure. Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and I reported at the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us. Too. Where were the number of witnesses? I have a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in the corner. Believed that was shot from the front at point blank range and died instantly. How was the range being determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound, just marks caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullets. But powder not hot enough to leave scorch marks only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. Okay, thank you. The weapon was found lying beside the victim. Have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord, not conclusively. Bravo, Counsel myself. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can be proven. Furthermore, my lord, I've explained the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabra mounted on the wall, and the tip of the one of the candles it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. Noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the true report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit a plan to the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Is it Fresno Street from Inspector Gregson's private abode? No, my lord. The room is rented to Mr. Hugh Bone. But there is a pressure little furniture inside and is generally in poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When the policeman was informed of the gunshot route from the witness and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside the holding the revolver. Who was holding it? The officer arrested the accused on the spot. So the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would lie to call its first witness. A name, please, Counsel. The accused himself. Okay, naturally the accused himself. Lovanzisks. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he has taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baruch Van Zix, Old Ballet Prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zix, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi opening proceedings. I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by a arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explaining some things in a way. Namely, why you were there in the room of Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing, or simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Francisc, I never imagined these days would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. Since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. I was investigating? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard a gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open, and I heard a man scream. It was only then the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Wow, that was very quick. The man screamed. This testimony was the whole truth. It was. You heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. A moment later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You can explain away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. You appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't a word, it's laughable. Oh god, into Kazuma. He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. I was just like, I don't know. Kinda, like, you haven't also quick, so I'm guessing. So it was staged. I hope it's not. Damn. Investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry. Identify a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could execute the proof I needed. Is the call to understand that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No. I was privy to his movement in advance. Privy? How? I stole into his office the yard and consulted his diary. Oh. The address of Fresno Street was noted at 5 PM. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone could constitute a very serious offense. It does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Love insists? I was aware of the possible consequences. So in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoy such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Well, why did I ever think I could defend this man? Hold it! Had you ever been to the Alps before? No, never. I only learned to the place as a result of my investigation into Greg's and activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 PM, the sun will only just have gone down. It will still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed it if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you see. You're quite sure. I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. Having a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, but I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a small desk in the room just there. Yeah, you can see. Yes, remember, there was an oil lamp on it. A well-framed photograph. Think you could hide there? When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. What did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. Hold it! So who fired the gun? I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you said it was very dark there. Yes, that's right. We didn't see the gun. At least, how you call it? All I can tell you, I didn't see another presence. Then, could it be? The gun should actually originate from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. It smelled the gunpowder. This is going to be bad for words. You say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up, and there was a carelessness of my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somehow hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, when on earth their gun was fired? Well, at least I would like to oblige you with an answer. I'm afraid I can't. I too will dearly like to know that. Wait, are you sure? I'm very confused. I didn't examine the gun. But the weapon was found at the scene and probably best to avoid handling, if you say so. So he has all the bullet in it? So this is the type of revolver that stunned the usual members of the jury. When Scout battery records are kept about was their issue too. I was told for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. So it has really old gun. Is what you're telling me? You're telling me there is a really old gun? Can you not examine it? Whatever. Just I pick it up, the firearm up, then yeah, sorry, whatever. Hold it! A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume. That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. What are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They all given a statement saying that they heard the gunshot. Without doubt, how danger, they ran inside to see what happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. You did? And almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. Policemen patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. Hold it! Really? What do you mean by that? What do you mean that what way did the poor body appear? Honestly, I can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly there it was. You perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At the moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open, and the scream of the man who came inside first, nothing more. It was the sound of the door flying open, the scream of the man who came inside first, nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Obscure circumstances, indeed. How the spectre was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Yeah, that's weird. Surely the court had heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that accused Baron Gonzales is lying on multiple fronts. What? What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. Defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? It's now examining the tip of the long candle you can see has been blown out by a powerful impact. One will assume the projectile from the firearm has through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, you can see only one candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. You could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because the particular candle was extinguished when the other was still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. The other two candles would still have been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the lights still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. Wow, how many lies he got? There's more? There's more! The accuser also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A bowl cover on top of bottom police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right, we saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged, however, including a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? Which is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking at all of the documents on the board. Indeed, what is the common thread, counsel? All related to the case prosecuted and called by Baron Van Zix. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are one in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interesting, none of these defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Oh no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper will claim never to have been his own secret hideout. No one would have believed that. Not the truth is, we've been looking at his backwards. Backwards? Explain yourself, that Gregson was investigating. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. That was a really compelling argument. Ora, ore, ora. Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Baron Van Zisk is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to this country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with the prosecutor a soggy contention. The defender's testimony exhibit a number of stark inconsistency with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Katsuma has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and is formidable. He's so cool, counsel. You will submit us more than you just show the court as evidence. I believe it fundamental in it is to be fundamental in establish the facts surrounding the repeated existence. Thank you, my lord. And now the prosecution would like to call a new witness to the stand. Witness who saw the events unfold today in question. They were mentioned in a previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street seller who heard the gunshot and went running to the room. Into the room. Very well, lead the witness in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Bruno? So witness, state your name's occupation for the court. I don't remember his name. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the like of us. We're just free and easy. Sell what we like. Live where we then live. Are you the one that's selling matches? I give them all back and stare and they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into birds for them. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Everyone called me the gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to pass by, you know. Jaunty little tidbits? Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right with your ginnel. Ginnel? Your ginnel? What is a ginnel? It is. 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less. Ginnel? Wait. You're actually trying to sell it to me? Now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money to see what it is. Pay the man, Castle! I'm so sorry. I was like, what? Why me? Alright, 6 pence it is. Jeez Louise. I won't regret it, sir. I got your listening ears, no? Just between us, a young couple's late street have just had twins. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but that's a bit up to you and your mouth, of course. I got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence, up it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, the unusual bruise you have. An unusual bruise of whatever it is that poking out for you under your collar. Oh, he got strangled? How about an ex-witness? Then the name of do you go by and by what do you sell? Me and Venice, that's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell these lovely little fireworks to the local school. She has the design of the girl that sells matches. It's a really, I don't know if it's a British English story, but I keep hearing this story. 6 pence a pop, what do you say? You weren't exaggerating a little, do you tell? Oh yeah, the second years can get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them if they get 100, they could blow up the school. Kids. Kids, back in the days. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school. Yeah. That is so much easier. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What do you say then? Well, about 6 pence for a pop. Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you on a little secret. You get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole court. Try the woman. Try the woman! Councilman, what? Give her the money and see if she's right. Pay the woman, Council. Why have to pay the woman to blow up the courtroom? Alright, I'll buy one. Miss Louise. Nobody's time, right then? With something a bit extra just for you. A Venice special, only 600 pence. 600 pence? I don't have that kind of money. 600? 100 of my Allegra fireworks. Nothing a little about what that is there. There'd be nothing a little about the punishment if I blow up the old ballet either. Oh, wow, really? And the last witness, the name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm not thinker. Me? I think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Why? Why is doing... Cartesian stuff. Was Cartesian? I don't remember. Because I stand there on street watching the world go on about me, they call me the observator. Observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you sandwich and you know it. So you don't don't actually sell anything? A problem share is a problem's half, as they say. I give advice, I do. I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it. Pity. No more purchase today, please. Well, they have quite a cast here, it seems. To conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. It always is the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see, thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime. Well, I'll be the beggar. I thought just between us. Venus the miler! What I'm to do so? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, playing with our eyes, if any of it is real. Is everything real? Is it? No. Is the Matrix? Very well, the court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the scene. What it could be, what it could be, what it could be. The witness account. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went into the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside and we all heard a big bang. Seemed to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Because we could wait to go and see what that meant. What happened? Ran into the room and there was the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I am scared of that to me, so I ran to find a copper. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, what did they see go inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baruch Van Six. I pictured of the Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, post a love story like this, I made myself a Diddy's home already. Oh, wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Some from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno are unoccupied. It's an empty building. Of course they are, they're small, damn dirty and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found the only property in the building that's currently leased. We know the leaseholder name. No, is Hugo. That's when the court has just heard will appear to leave the room to doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defender could have committed the crime. No. Thank you for your condom, my lord. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. A close call like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. Have to break down his testimony somehow. Hold it! When you say they, what do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defender Law Van Six? I suppose the likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty, but I'll tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain. What's behind Inspector Gregson? Did they arrive at the same time, each other? As each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it likely have forgotten a fellow with the bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even. That very red mop still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute, you're saying the man is a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? I use redhead. He had a big trunk with him as well. Big trunk? Trunk? By Inspector Gregson, hair is a rat. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seemed likely the person you saw was in fact Inspector Gregson at all, or some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the winters are correct. What? To have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, right? And I read happiness. Ah, of course. We saw one on the floor when we were investigating the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe that Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece then. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photo will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. What became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared. What, do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw the dog going in, there was no question about it. Hold it! So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right? That I was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did. And yelled out, what's going on here? Ovanzis claims all he heard was a man screaming though. And was in a dark inside room. No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fellow collapsed on the floor. This between us is the first thing I noticed when I got inside. I see. Ovanzis claims not have seen any such lies on the wall. The next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Baruch Ovanzis. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-liver coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold hard stare myself. Excuse me! Didn't he just run away? Anyway. There's something to add, Mr. Sandwich. There is really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am, just two slices with no middle. So I don't know what could want to eat me. I think that maybe you just remember something. Have you heard Mr. Gossip last statement, I mean? What I think is we all nothing, seriously. We try to dress ourselves up to something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's nothing. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep on your trap shut down. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When you saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I thought you'd keep that a secret. He screamed, he did it. Scream and scramble off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Mr. Gossip, is this true? The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand in my filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck. What? A pool of blood? But listen here, even where I was, sprawled on the floor, I still keep giving the Reaper a cold hard stare. I don't forget. You forget it. Let's just beg a little. You say you got blood on your hand? I did. Happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can't keep just between us, can we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. If I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once. Oh, what is this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Yes, it's smudge of some kind, in fact. Looks just like handprint. The color. Blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing. There are details of all the raffle cases dating back years of here, aren't there? This pair from 9 years ago is browning with age, look. Out of interest, the most recent things appears to be this newspaper cutting edge. It's the same red-headed league advertisement that Mr. Sherman had picked out. Do you remember? There was a red abyss at the scene too. Is Inspector Grayson an exponent of the red-eyed league then? I assume there was someone hiding here, so this one was on the floor. And he's lit. So these things must have been on the floor.
Objection!
You wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done? Does it really
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigation. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you find out, Prosecutor Asogi. I'm gonna smash you, Kazuma. There was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Oh yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in this distinctive color of blood. Are you dead right? That's my right hand. I know it anyway.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. The handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
The board was not there, it means. Now if the board itself had fallen over on the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness' handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim at his upright position. You realize somehow that the table was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, so it was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. Okay, this is very interesting. In other words, the defense assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There is a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. Take it that you'll be formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel? Oh, there's a delay. Ah, I fucking hate it. There's a delay!